Fun fact, femboys are a great source of protein.
It will be like a bus hit you. How do you start a conversation like this? Australia! First! Oh god, I hate this one. Even at Christmas?
Ho, ho, ho!
What the heck?
I have been assaulted by a cow.
Yeah, never going to Australia again, by the way. Why is it a glizzy? Bling, bling, bling. You know? Yeah, we'll react to that. How's everyone doing? I just saw you tell me how they're doing. How are y'all doing? Reveal myself!
Wagon. I'll be back in maybe 6 hours.
6 hours? We should be still streaming then. Alright, let's look at these things that my editor has begged me to watch. Okay. Aussie MENACES. Aussie MENACES. The heckles?
In Australia? Well, want to no longer, because I'm here to tell you that, like the rest of the country, it's fucking cursed.
Cursed? Even at Christmas?
Christmas is in the dead center of summer, which means that rather than waking up to a lovely white Christmas, we wake up and immediately start melting into a puddle because it's 35 fucking degrees outside and the aircon's broken. With this change in weather comes a change in work uniform for old Santa Claus, trading out the usual red and white for a singlet and a pair of thongs. Because to quote the big man himself, fuck wearing that shit, it's too hot. St. Nick has also bought himself a new whip.
He didn't say that, did he? I don't think he said that.
Trading out the sleigh for a, quote, rusty old newt, and firing Rudolph and all of his fucking blades, replacing them with, I shit you not, kangaroos. You may think I am bullshitting you, which is fair, but no, I'm not. We even have a song about it.
Dashing through the bush in a rusty Holden ute.
Santa also has had a significant change in diet in the land down under, as rather than the usual milk and cookies, my parents told me to make sure to leave a few nice cold beers out on the countertop for old Santa, which, knowing what I do now, was absolutely just an excuse for my parents to pre-game Christmas Day. But I also can't think of anything more Australian than turning a jolly old man into a raging fucking alcoholic. You ever wonder how different Christmas is in...
What the heck? You guys are crazy. I like that though.
Who wins? 100 men or...
I feel like people vastly underestimate the gorilla. Because yes, 100 people is a lot of people, but I think he at least gets through 50 of you. Maybe not all of you, but at least half of you are going the way.
One gorilla. Well, to get your answer, we're going to have to look at our fighters for the most anticipated
Look
cage.
like showing him, he's like super like, he has full like, he knows how to control his body.
Match of 2025. And in the red corner, standing at an impressive 6 feet tall and weighing a ridiculous...
And then, this isn't gonna be 100 super strong guys, or even this, like, no, it's 100 average men. I'm sorry, but the average is low. The average is like, they got a pot belly. Which means they don't have the arm strength to even take down the gorilla. So I'm thinking at least 50. Maybe you eventually, like, smother them with the bodies and stuff, but I'm pretty sure he gets through a lot of you.
220 kilos, we have one
70 of those men are gonna run away screaming like a little girl.
That's what I'm saying! I think the gorilla wins! Because the joke before was a average men. It was 100 average males. It ain't gonna happen!
Silverback gorilla!
Like, if it was 100, like, above average men, sure. The gorilla, like, fails around level, like, 20 people. Because of, like, just how much force is behind that. But it's average. I don't think they're strong enough.
Step it into the ring to settle the score against...
You're getting all the really skinny guys and the... Kind of out of shape guys.
For what we did to Harambe,
You
this
would need
fighter is bringing
1,000
some
million,
impressive.
haha.
Nah, I think 1,000 would be like the breaking. I feel like if you go for with average men, it'd probably need at least like 200. Because I feel like at a certain point, the gorilla gets tired. Or Harambe. Oh, hush.
Physical strength, capable of lifting up to
Hi.
800 kilos of weight.
That's
Meaning
what I'm
that
saying.
if it gets its hands on you, a gorilla is more than capable of picking you up and doing you the same way that Hulk did Loki. Now, on top of being stronger than Eddie Hall, they also have an unreal reach advantage with a 2.6 meter wingspan, which is a fairly major problem because a right hook from a gorilla produces 2,700 pounds of force. To put that into perspective, the human skull shatters at 1,400. So if Winston hits you with
That's
a
what I'm
haymaker,
saying.
your head is gonna...
He's taken quite a few of them out just by punching. Just swinging his arms around because of how much force he has behind them. I feel like even if it's like basic body structure, like guys that walked around a lot, kind of like where they're okay in physical fit, wouldn't be enough. I think it has to be above average males.
Pop like a watermelon. And with the cage fight following the Mortal Kombat rule set, we can also factor in the gorilla's bite. Because despite being a pretty gentle herbivore in the wild, they have one of the highest bite forces on the planet at 1,300 PSI. That is 100 PSI more than a polar bear.
Which is terrifying.
And now, with our fighter statistics out of the way,
Good morning,
let's
cute
get
and
down
menacing
to
dragon
business.
god.
Can our gorilla win a fight against the 100 average men in the blue corner?
Like, even he says it. Average men. I don't think 100 average men are winning. We're giving... I'm sorry, but we're gassing up men while we're saying this. You're gassing up average males way too much.
Place your bets. Let's see who comes out on top. Yeah, look, I'm going to keep it real with you. Even with those stats, Winston here is getting bodied. I'm sorry, he's going back to the spawn room. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Directly to hanging out with Harambe in heaven. 100 people, it's just too fucking many. He's getting jumped. However, not to say he's not going to take a few with him. My guess is one guy runs up and gets swatted across the cage like a toddler, shatters his ribs against the bars. Second guy gets grabbed by the leg and given the Hulk treatment.
What you don't realize is he could use that guy's body as a weapon. And gorillas are very smart. I'm pretty sure he's using that. He's grabbing two guys and using them as like whips. And just going, what until there's like nothing left of the body. And then finding two more. Like, okay, I'll say about an average he can take just over 100. I think you add one more guy and it probably wins. But I don't think he's tearing out that quickly.
About 6 other guys cop swings to the head and die instantly from broken necks. One dumbass is probably going to try to hit him off the top rope and get done the same way that Omni-Man did Nightwing. But at that point, the crowd probably jumps in and realizes that there are still about 90 of them and it's over. Not that the fight even needs to happen, but it wouldn't be the first time we lost a gorilla to human stupidity.
That's so real. It's so real. So true. I feel like the gorilla wins. Because I feel like at a certain point, you lose all morale. Like the males lose morale. If we're like completely taking morale, and we're like taking out all the like lower athletic people and all this other stuff, that feels like unfair statistics. Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's 100 people versus gorilla deathmatch, that's what I'm saying. Like, how big is the arena? If it's a normal arena, if the gorilla's fast enough, it grabs 2 of them and it uses a whip and it knocks everyone back. But if it's not quick enough, there's an argument to be said for it losing instantly almost. But I feel like the gorilla would just like crush people with his arms and like smack people off of it. I feel like we need to say above average males, not average. I feel like average, you're getting like the really skinny guys that have no arm strength whatsoever. You get the out of shape guys who also have no arm strength or leg strength whatsoever. All I'm saying.
I have been assaulted by a cow. One of the cows.
No. Pseudo, no. I don't think so. Those things are terrifying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Alan. Seeing Kongs cut and beat the first 10 or so to death with the body of some of the other ones. I feel like the rest would be like, oh shit, I'm that. Get me out of here. How do you start a conversation like this?
This is called Monty, and he's an adolescent, and I made the mistake of turning around for like 5 seconds, and in that 5 seconds, this 500-kilo cow runs up behind me while I'm sorting out his food and tries to f***ing mount me.
You have my condolences.
He nearly f***ing squished me. If I hadn't been hitting legs, I would have been squashed by a horny f***ing cow. I have been assaulted by a cow. One of the cows is called Monty. Here is how Santa gets around the world in one night. First and foremost, there's no way anyone's operating the sleigh sober. Fuck that. But here's the most important thing. Santa has a device. Santa's patented sleigh device. So now I feel like I can operate a sleigh. Alrighty, you ungrateful little cunts, I'm delivering you fucking Christmas presents. Oh, I can indicate. I forgot I had those. Now, if any of you ungrateful little cunts complain about what you got for Christmas, next time I come down that chimney, it's gonna be with a bat.
I'm glad he's not Santa. Can I say that? Is that rude? That's not rude, right? I feel like that's rude.
There's no one here, we're right.
I'm sure Santa will understand.
What do you mean fucking red light fine? I got like 7 bazillion houses to get to around the world. Oh, fucking speed. Oh, you fucking cops. Fuck you dog. When doing the present deliveries, you just got to kind of ignore the fucking cops. Alright, because they will try to pull you over for doing like 7 million miles an hour, but they just hate Christmas, alright? 70 Ks. Come on, let's get a bit of oomph. Can we get a couple more fucking reindeer on the front of this thing? When you're delivering presents, you will occasionally, clip random civilians on the sidewalk. It sucks, but it is just a cost of delivering for Christmas. When you put on your fucking Christmas list that you want a bloody Lego set, that comes at a human cost, alright? Ho! Ho ho! Here is how...
Santa's gonna put him on the nod. I'm sorry.
This wasp is basically a xenomorph.
Oh god, I hate this wasp.
Hawk wasp,
I know about this wasp.
Nightmare-inducing insects on the planet. And the reason it's such a threat to your mental health is because its hunting and reproduction strategy is ripped straight from Ellen Ripley's autobiography. But before we get to the
I'm pretty sure Alien is based off of this wasp.
you're gonna have to learn a little bit about it first. Native to Australia, because of course it fucking is, this fucker is the
That was funny.
largest wasp on the planet, coming in at a massive 2.5 inches, which I mean, boys, we would all agree.
That's big. For a bug, that's terrifyingly big. That's like 4 times the normal size you're used to seeing a bug. That's bigger than most spiders.
Well above average, right? Huge. And this is probably the most effective.
Wait. Was that a dick joke?
Effective 2 inches has ever been because it has the second most painful sting of any insect on the planet, coming in just barely behind the bullet ant. Pack and a half inch stinger.
Why would someone try to be stung by the bullet ant? Somehow or another, I don't know if I've ever told anyone in chat this. Somehow or another, a bull ant got into my papa's car while I was waiting in the car. Like, I don't know where it came from, but it was on the seat. It was on the floorboard. And I was terrified. And, like, I stopped it like 5 times, but, you know, it's a bull ant. It doesn't goddamn care. It kept coming. It was like, it would stop for a second, then it'd get up and it'd start walking more. And I'd be like, ah! So I got out and I don't remember what I used, but I basically like swatted it out of the car somehow. Oh my gosh. Bull ants are terrifying. And they're kind of like the younger, not as powerful bullet ant. Oh my god. Every time I come in, I am not always looking at ads. He's showing the stinger, you
debilitating,
Neanderthal.
I can't move my arm, and electric. Now, the size and
who puts a fork in him?
Poison aren't just for nothing,
I don't know what
because
to do with
as
you
the
people.
name tarantula hawk wasp suggests, they are purpose-built, genetically perfect killing machines designed specifically to violate spiders, making Australia basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for them. But they don't just execute the spiders. No, that'd be too normal. Hawk wasps use spiders to reproduce in one of the most horrific ways possible. And that all starts with a female hawk wasp hunting down a tarantula. As the buff bulking spider takes a wrong turn down a dark alley, the hawk wasp, noticing the 8 sets of TNs on his feet, proceeds to fucking jump him. Flying.
Which is sad because tarantulas are super passive.
Down from above to land a sting into the spider's abdomen, instantly and
How do you like this
permanently
video?
paralyzing it. The Bug Harbour Butcher then proceeds to drag the still completely conscious and aware spider into an isolated kill room, which is where the fucked up part really begins. Because our wasp isn't hungry, it's pregnant, and proceeds to lay its egg on the paralysed spider's abdomen. After about 3 to 4 days, that egg hatches into a larvae. A very, very hungry larvae. Fortunately, there's a whole bunch of fresh food right here underneath them. That food being the still paralysed, still very conscious and aware spider. The larvae burrows into the spider's abdomen and gets to work converting it into a KFC family bucket, consuming it from the inside out, purposely avoiding vital organs to keep the food nice and fresh. After it's done consuming a living being, the larvae breaks forth from the demolished corpse like a fucking chestburster and fucks off to continue the generational arachnid violation. Anywho, good luck.
Yeah, never going to Australia again, by the way.
Fun fact, femboys are a great source of protein.
Huh?
Bro, I did not just say that. What? Femboys are a great source of protein.
Lock on, you're my editor. I want to ban you so bad.
Did I
right
stutter?
now.
I don't think I did. I don't believe that I stuttered. Did I stutter? Think, Joe, think. Well, listen. Alright. Have you never had some of the homies protein shakes? You want to tell me you've never had a bit of protein? It's really anabolic. Just great for lifting, you know? It's a really good forearm workout as well when you've got to shake the bottle, you know? Fun fact, femboys are a gorilla can't beat 100
Okay. All of you are banned.
men in a fight. He gets But that begs the question, which animal does win?
Oh yeah. Hippo definitely wins. Even above average males. I don't care if you're all bodybuilders, you're all dying.
And the answer, stepping into the ring at 5 meters long and weighing in at a genuinely frightening 4,500 kilos, I present to you the hippopotamus. It look
Like, oh my god. Those things will crush.
a hippo causing a 100 long line at the gates of heaven after a fight is honestly pretty plausible. You see, despite the fantastic PR work Moodang has done for the hippopotamus community, doesn't change the fact that Moto here is a sentient Ford F1.
Doesn't matter. Kind of the crazy thing about hippos is, I don't think the guns affect them at first.
50, the temperament of a fucking serial killer who can win this fight for one very specific reason. You can't fucking hurt it.
You can't.
You say the hippopotamus is possibly the tankiest land animal on the fucking planet, packing an unbelievably thick 2-inch hide. Now look, we all know 2 inches is a lot, especially in the sheets, but in the streets of the African savannah, this makes them practically Don't believe me? Here is a hippopotamus walking away from 10 lions.
That's lions! That's lions trying to eat it!
Lions trying to convert it into a family meal. Notice how the hippopotamus does not give a single fuck. If Mufasa and his extended family can't hurt it, neither can you. However, don't let the fact that it's walking away fool you here. The hippopotamus is not a peaceful animal. They are, in fact, violent, psychopathic, 4.5-ton thundercats that can and will bite you in half. A hippo's jaw produces 2,000 PSI of...
It can crush 2 people in its jaws instantly. And that's if it decides to stop running.
Pure crushing force. So if he catches your ass, you are the watermelon. And as if the hydraulic press wasn't bad enough, don't forget they've got 2 20-inch fangs in that mouth that'll put a hole in you big enough to stick your f***ing arm through. But honestly, the bite doesn't even f***ing matter. It weighs 4.5 tons and can run at 30k an hour.
It will be like a bus hit you. You're all going to the ER if you live.
Getting hit by a charging hippo is like getting hit by a f***ing bus.
Yeah, they're like 90% fat. So the gun's bullets are just going blang, 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 you know?
Way, we are winning a fight against something that could probably take out 10 people just by rolling over. In summary,
No,
don't f- with the hungry hippo.
No, if the way hippos are, if it sees 100 people, all it's going to do is run around. And that's like getting hit by a bus. You try to get in its way, you'll get hit by a bus. And if it stops running, it can still use its mouth or roll over. You gotta get on it and try to choke it out. That's the only way. Because of how, like, thick it is. What you gonna do? Punch it? It's gonna look at you like you're stupid. Doesn't matter, Voodoo. Doesn't matter. You're getting ran over. Doesn't matter. The hippo looks at 100 men and it says, ooh, dinner.
Komodo dragons are horror villains.
Komodo dragons are not dragons. They just have a garbage mouth.
I mean, seriously, this industrial-sized lizard is easily one of the biggest assholes in the animal kingdom when it comes to hunting methods, packing a PhD in suffering and a double degree in biological warfare purely because they cannot be expending effort to hunt. You see, Godzilla's little cousin here is the largest lizard in the world, weighing up to 166 kilos and being a full 3.13 meters in length, which means
5 men are not sacrificing themselves. People are inherently selfish with their life. There ain't no way in hell 5 of them decide to jump down his throat.
For the short kings in my audience, if you're brave enough,
Poor Tyler won. Gosh dang it, Tyler.
banger motor trend.
I feel like they did that on purpose. They got one of their announcers that's tall on purpose. Just to frick with him.
Sport right there. Now, being the reptile equivalent of a Cadillac Escalade means that the Komodo dragon needs to consume a lot of calories to keep that bulk going. However, rather than using that bulk to proactively chase down and body slam its prey, they can take down prey 3 times their size, because as if being a reptilian tank was not enough, they are also venomous. And this isn't just your run-of-the-mill snake venom that, you know, gives you a nice quick 15-minute death. No. A Komodo hunt starts with it running up to its prey and giving it a nice big chomp on the leg, injecting it with hemorrhagic venom. After biting, the Komodo dragon off and just sits there watching. The confused and bewildered animal runs off into the forest, leaking blood, allowing that Komodo dragon to track it like a DoorDash order. A week goes by, and that bite wound isn't closing because hemorrhagic venom prevents blood clots. So, the animal is still slowly bleeding out, and the Komodo is still watching. More time passes. That bite wound gets infected because Komodos are carrion feeders, meaning that the inside of their mouth is full of enough rotting flesh and bacteria to give Asmongold a run for his money. The infection begins to drain the animal's strength, and the Komodo is still watching. Another week passes. The infection has spread, and the flesh has begun to rot. And you best believe that ass lizard is still there watching like he's waiting for his meal to heat up in the microwave. Once the bleeding, disease-ridden animal becomes too exhausted to move on its own and collapses, the Komodo strolls over and eats it alive, shredding it into chunks if it's larger, or if it's small enough, swallowing it whole as it screams on the way down. Even for me, man, that's fucked. Komodo...
Yeah, not dragons. Scary, but not dragons.
This is the deadliest snake in the world. Introducing the inland taipan, and being the
Oh, the
deadliest
taipan!
in the world,
Yeah.
I will give you exactly one guess as to where it's found.
Australia!
It's Australia, of course it's fucking Australia. Be so serious here. Where the else did you think you were going to find it?
Australia.
Canada? More specifically, as the name suggests, the taipan is found inland in the outback. Luckily, extremely far from civilization, because this homicidal hospital hose is the definition of size doesn't matter. Because despite having extremely small fangs for a venomous snake, coming in at only 6.2 millimeters.
Doesn't need to, really.
the
They're
taipan
carrion
is here to
feeders,
show
so
you
it's
that you
assumed.
absolutely
The thing about carrion feeders is they are known to be cannibalistic. Vultures will eat their own. Like, it's not new.
can feel less than an inch, because those fangs contain the statistically deadliest snake venom on the fucking planet. Yeah, tape ant venom is a pina colada of pain, containing, but not limited to, hemotoxins to cause blood clots, myotoxins for paralysis,
I
and
feel like if there were more, like, animals around, Komodos wouldn't hunt their own. It's just because there's not a lot of animals around, there's just barely enough that Komodos do hunt their own. It's not exactly they do it as a choice. It's more of a necessity.
necrosis, nephrotoxins to shut down your kidneys, and 3 different kinds of neurotoxin. Needless to say, if it bites you, you will get a headache, vomit up the entire contents of your stomach, collapse to the ground in agonizing pain, and then your heart and lungs will stop, sending you to meet God in under 15 minutes.
I think the taiping is one of the few snakes that you're not immediately right next to a hospital, you just die. It doesn't matter.
And that venom is so fucking potent that one bite contains enough toxin to do that to 100 people. But the funniest part of this snake's venom,
And you can't suck this out because it's so much.
in the wild, they only hunt rats and fucking mice. The deadliest venom on the planet, and they are using it to pack up Remy the rat. It's like hunting a rabbit with a fucking AWP.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Uh-huh.
Counter-terrorists win.
Why is that a glizzy? Why is it a glizzy?
Komodo dragon. This
Okay,
is
that's all of it. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Alright. What's the next thing? Taipans are scary! Yeah, nature doesn't care. God damn, I love this Australian man.
Bokath 1 pat, Bokath 1 pat, Bokath 1 pat.
I'm gonna pat you.